Hey everybody, Billy Sticker here with Dr. Josh Wagner. Uh, Always a pleasure to visit with. He's been on the podcast a few times. We've done interviews like this in the past, and is just a living legend in the profession and is fantastic at what he does. So, Josh, how are you doing this morning?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you, Billy, and thanks for everyone
I
joining in
say
and watching.
I say this morning. It's not just today. Uh, yep. So, where are you at right now?
I'm in New York right now, heading back to California in a couple weeks, and yeah, and then to Dallas for seminar and training coming up in November.
Yep, I'll see you there. You do get to travel a lot. We actually leave here just a little bit for California. I love San Diego. Um, we've actually considered moving there if it wasn't California. So, but we like San Diego. Uh, there's a lot of nice places there. But let's get into some different things. Before we started, before we went live here, we were talking about how important mindset is. Let's share. First off, what do you think? How important is mindset? And I know you had this hack that you wanted to share, but let's first get into why mindset is so important.
Yeah, well, if you're a chiropractor watching, let's just talk about the day to day mindset. You know, when you're not having a great day, like you didn't get enough sleep the night before, or something personally isn't going well, it's never one of those days where the phone just rings with organic random new patients or referrals. And worse, it's more no-shows, more cancellations, more reschedules, more patients who say, I've got to think about it, or this is my last visit. So we know on that level, like how you're feeling, how your brain is firing makes a dramatic difference. But you also know that, for instance, you feel you may have a cap on your volume, how much you could possibly see in a week if that's your goal. Or more importantly, your income. Like you just say, oh, well, I'm a chiropractor with, let's say, one doctor in the practice, then my range of income is from here to here. We all have these self-imposed limitations or society-imposed. Now think about this. You've probably done some type of coaching, practice management, whether it's in chiropractic or outside, and you know 5, 10 people who've done the same program. Maybe you've seen testimonials and they got different results than you, but you were using the same exact material. And that's what I discovered after 3 to 4 years of working with chiropractors. I'm giving exceptional new patient communication, conversion, retention material to be the most trusted, respected, referred to doctor in town, that doctors, even in the same town, were getting very different results using the same exact material. So the material has credibility and value, of course. But if your mindset isn't there, you self-sabotage, you procrastinate, you do it incorrectly. Like we all know what our things and our vices are. The arms folded, I've heard this before.
Right.
And so I'm a student of self-growth, always learning. And I'm shocked to have come to this understanding and epiphany a couple of years ago. Ended up writing a book about it, and now it's half of my program because it's so powerful. I'm going to reveal it to you right now. Is the single mindset that makes the difference in practice, in life, in relationships, in your health, in your income, happiness, anywhere, that I don't see anyone talking about, let alone a process that will actually give you this mindset. So I'm going to ask you a real simple question. Not you, Billy, but you can have it in your head if you're watching, of what's an area of practice. It could be income, volume, new patients, or life that's really, really important to you, needing to change, and you know that end result you want. So maybe you're making X amount and you want to make 2X. Maybe you see 20 new patients a month and you want to see 30. Maybe you are in a certain relationship and you want it to be a lot different looking relationship. And answer this very simple yes or no question in your head. Do you truly believe you deserve having that end result? Do you truly believe you deserve having that end result in your life? That's the answer, the deserving belief. Because without it, we procrastinate, we self-sabotage, we stay stuck, or we burnt out. With it, We have energy, inspiration, we get the right ideas, we meet the right people, we take the steps, and literally life's synchronicities and serendipities align for us to go forward getting what we want. There is nothing more simple but less understood as the underlying common denominator. And that doesn't displace things like work ethic and commitment and discipline and integrity and character, not at all. But you can have those, and if you don't truly believe you deserve that income, that practice, that relationship, you're going to self-sabotage. I learned that after a few years of seeing chiropractors use my material and just practice takes off, and other chiropractors get the same material and nothing happened. Now, that's half of the program. The whole first day of my 3-day seminars is all on the deserving belief. And the book just came out called You Deserve It, The Missing Answer to the Life You Want, which is not just on this topic, but actually shows you a relatively simple process to flip your switch from undeserving to deserving. Because I wouldn't be here to be a talking head to talk about something. Like, I actually want to give you a tool to flip your switch. So that's what I'll be speaking about the rest of my life, which has made a profound difference in my life, now seeing it in chiropractors and people all over the world. And Billy, thank you for giving me an audience to share it with, more. So thank you for that.
It's great. You always deliver no matter what the topic is that we've talked about before. But that is so true. I was actually going through some training this morning, and this guy was talking about how, and I've heard some of this before, but your beliefs live down in your subconscious. So a lot of us have heard it before. Your beliefs control your thoughts, which control your actions, which control your results. And you can never consistently act in a way that's not congruent with your beliefs. You can do it for a little bit. You might be able to work out for a couple of weeks and eat right for a couple of weeks, but if you don't believe you deserve it, you don't believe you can get to that level, you're not going to consistently do the things that it takes to get there.
Absolutely. And there's many layers. So a lot of people listening might think, oh, I've heard of that. That's like The Secret, law of attraction. This is 3 layers deeper, because oftentimes people confuse just believing with possibility. And a lot of people understand something's possible. Like, oh, it is possible to make $1 million a year, or have the relationship of my dreams, or lose 30 pounds. They believe it's possible. They know it's possible because they see other people doing it. And they think of it, oh, that's a possibility for my future. But they still don't believe they deserve it. So you could do all the affirmations, all the vision boards, all the goal setting, all the coaching. And if your deserving belief isn't flipped from off to on, you're going to self-sabotage. And there's also the aspect, a lot of people confuse deserving with worthiness. And most people grew up in a mentality where worthiness is something placed on them from birthright, parents, religious figure. And this has nothing to do with your background, ethnicity, gender, age. Deservingness is your own choice. And for the most part, it gets turned off in a lot of areas based on how we grow up. We emulate our parents. And if our parents had a certain amount of income, oftentimes, not definitely, but oftentimes we think, well, that's what we're deserving of. The cars they drove, the vacations they took, the relationship they had. So unless you choose to consciously address it, again, unless you address the undeserving beliefs, you can't put the vision boards and affirmations and goals on top of it. It's like trying to build a mansion on top of a swamp. You could have the best architects, the best materials, all the money in the world. You put it on a swamp, it's not going to take shape. So what I show in the deserving process is how to actually get through the undeserving beliefs before creating your deserving beliefs and your future and what inspires you. And it's a process that doesn't cost a dime. You don't have to get on the phone with me. You do it from your own home. It's taught in the book. It's taught in my seminars. I even teach it online. So it's, we're not going to go through it step by step in this podcast, but it is so powerful. It's so straightforward. And that's the missing link I see in so many doctors' offices because it hasn't been addressed in the field. And more than other healthcare professions, chiropractors often have an undeserving belief because we're not 100% accepted by the public. We often have a redheaded stepchild chip on our shoulder to medicine. We have 350 different techniques, and we can have some uncertainty. Did I choose the right one? We all know graduating from school, you're taught more how to not hurt someone rather than to help someone. So there's so many factors that make it tougher for chiropractors and actually instill an undeserving belief. Or one that I see a lot is, I was taught how to practice from so-and-so, and that didn't feel ethical to me. Like, that was my undeserving belief starting in practice, is what I was taught to say and to recommend turned my stomach. I would never say it to a family member. So of course I went into practice and sabotaged myself because I had a pit in my stomach. And until I dropped all of that, no referrals, retention was awful. And I just woke up every day with my heart pounding, like, is this person going to accept the recommendations for the first 6 months starting in practice from scratch? So I've gone through it.
Yeah. There's so much here. I mean, I could see how it could be a full day just talking about this, if not more. I know for me, I had, and this is not a pity party about me, one of the things my grandfather told me is there's always somebody that would trade your problems for their problems. So no matter how bad you think it is, you're okay, right? But I had a pretty rough childhood. My mom, basically, there was a parental kidnapping. Took me, my younger brother and sister. We moved across the country. The rest of the family, nobody knew where we were for 3 months. I mean, we'd be on CNN and Fox News today if this happened. I spent some time in foster care, all these different things. And fast forward, through life, I always had this mindset that if somebody could do it, I could do it. Right? If somebody else could do it, I could do it. Did you ever watch the movie Anthony Hopkins, Alec Baldwin, I think it was called The Edge.
Didn't, but I know.
Out in the woods hunting, where there's this bear that's killing everybody that's on this camping trip, basically. Spoiler alert. And Alec Baldwin is used to being in this. He's just a city slicker. And Anthony Hopkins is this wise old man, and they're carving these spikes out of some small trees and stuff that they were able to cut down just to kill this bear. Well, Alec Baldwin is really in an acute state. He's mentally just freaking out, scared to death. And Anthony Hopkins is really calm, and he said, just repeat after me. What one man can do, another can do. And he doesn't want to do it. He goes, just say it. What one man can do, another can do. And he says it, and then he says it again, and says it again. And said, what one man can do, another can do. And because Alec Baldwin didn't feel that he had what Anthony Hopkins did. He didn't feel that he had what it took to go out and kill this bear. He thought he was going to die. But there was something about that over and over again, and it did something in me just watching that scene. And every time I've wanted something, it's like, if they can do it, I can do it. I know it's a little bit different than talking about deserving it.
But again, it's on the same plane. And I like that you brought that up, because let's say in some way that flipped your switch to a hot, or strengthened your deserving belief. That happens throughout life too. So most of us can relate to undeserving beliefs pretty easily, but we all have deserving beliefs, and they can get turned on through interactions with certain people growing up. It's not like this process that I've developed is the only one, but it's, if there's an area in your life where you're stuck and you're grinding it out, and the coaches, the resources, waiting hasn't changed it, this is a process that you can just start applying immediately, and it's going to make a difference both with how you feel inside and how life starts to change on the outside. And it's not the only thing out there that creates deserving beliefs. Like, a great mentor can create deserving beliefs. Great parents, it goes both ways. So they can instill undeserving and deserving. But whatever is the most important area in your life right now, or practice, if it's not moving, this is a new concept and a new way to really see a shift pretty quickly. And like I said, at seminars, the whole first day is now dedicated to this, and people bring their spouses. because we're not talking about anything chiropractic, and it's going to make more difference in your practice than all the gems of the new patient process and communication and care plans and all that we do on the second and third day.
So to find out more, they can attend the seminar or the book.
Go to patientmastery.com. You'll find out about the upcoming seminar. The next one is November 1st to 3rd in Dallas. Billy's going to be there. I'm looking forward to seeing him again in person. You can watch a masterclass that has both deserving belief, new patient communication, and new patient care recommendations that make it so much easier for patients to say, yeah, I want to get started, even if they thought insurance was going to cover it all, and it turns out they have a $6,000 deductible. So this is a new way to recommend care that just takes the salesiness out of it, takes the heaviness out of patient care, and it works miraculously. So that's that. And if you check in with social media or go to drjoshwagner.com, you will see You Deserve It, the book coming out. I'm excited, Billy. It's going to be in the front windows of the flagship Barnes & Noble in New York City.
Nice.
The books are getting sent to them when they get them for an entire month, and then back again during the holiday season. And that just means a lot to me because I lived a block away from it in college, walked by it 1,000 times, been in it hundreds of times, and it's literally 5 stories overlooking Union Square Park, and it's going to be the only book in the window for an entire month, and I'm excited about that happening.
Oh, congratulations! That has to be pretty exciting right there. So what I'll do is, some are going to be watching this on social media. We'll put a link in the descriptions or down in the probably do it down in the comments.
Perfect.
And then also for those listening to the podcast, I'm going to go ahead and take this and release this as a podcast too. We will have a link in the show notes. So just at chirocandy.com. So very good. Is there any closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts are, again, thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this. I hope thinking about and answering that question instilled in you something that you realize now is missing, like a real, true, strong, deserving belief. And even if you've read the books, you've gone to the talks, you've had the mentors, had the coaches, if something still isn't moving for you, give this a try. Guarantee it'll make a shift. And thank you for all you do as a chiropractor.
Thanks so much for being on today, and I look forward to seeing you here in just, 6 weeks?
Yeah, about a month and a half, November 1st.
Yeah, all right. Sounds good.
Cool.
Thanks.
You well, Billy. Thank you.